Good morning and welcome to another Van Tech Tuesday, in which I answer your questions to the best of my abilities about anything van related. And this week it seems that most of you are making the kind of best of the current situation and starting your van build. So let's get cracking with the questions. First question is, at which stage of my van build should I install the electrics? I'd say install the electrics straight away. First fix electrics, like if you're building a house, is where you put all the wires. So you work out roughly where your lights are going to be, where your sockets are going to be, where your batteries are going to be, your battery to battery charge, your solar, the solar cables maybe through the roof and all that kind of thing. Just work out where each end of the wires are going to need to be set up, and then just kind of like set them up. Tuck them out of the way as you're putting your insulation in and your boarding in and stuff like that. Obviously tuck them out of the way and then pull them through, whatever you want to do. But I would say straight away get your cabling done. As soon as you've made the van watertight, and you've sealed the interior, you've got rid of all the holes and treated the rust and all that kind of stuff, before you put any insulation in, get those wires in. Next question, can I install my solar panel on the roof before starting the van interior? Again, going on the same line, absolutely yes. Get your skylight holes cut and then installed, get your solar panel cut in, get the holes put in, get the gland that brings the holes for the cables through. Just bear in mind, once you put that solar panel on the roof and it's exposed to light, it's going to have power on the end of its two cables. So if you do bring the cables into the inside of the van through the gland, obviously if you've got MC4 connections on, that's great, maybe a bit of tape around them. If you haven't, make sure you properly insulate both ends of those cable that's coming out. Next question, is a battery monitor essential as part of my van build? And for that we mean something like the Victron BMV 712, or there are similar products out there anyway, and they allow you to see what amps you're getting in from your solar or from your battery charger or whatever, and also the amps you're using out. Basically it gives you a count up since the last time the battery was fully charged, how much you've taken out of the battery. So it's really good if you've only got 100 amp hour battery and it says you've used 50 amp hours, then you're half full and it's getting near kind of danger level kind of thing. It also shows your voltage and a bunch of other information, including a little percentage gauge. And it is a gauge, it's not accurate, so it's a rough kind of indication of your battery percentage. And all that information just allows you to see more about the power that you're using in your van, and also the power that you're getting in, like say solar charge controllers or your battery to battery charge controller, or even on hookup. So yes, I would say yes they are. The Victron one is great because if it's a 712 it's Bluetooth, so you get a little app on your phone, that works cool. If not, no, as long as it's showing you the information that's useful, like your kind of voltage level currently, the amps going in and out, and how much you've used the amp hours so far, then I think that's enough. The next one is, should I use an underslung water tank or an internal water tank? Interesting one, this one, because our old van was underslung water and we had to insulate and fit heater pads and everything else, whereas this van is an internal water tank. However, it does use up a portion of the space under one of the seats, whereas the underslung tank obviously doesn't. So whilst the underslung tank, it did cause a few issues, it got caught out once across a field and ripped the pipe off. It got caught out once when we went through a flooded road, it ripped the pipes off. They do kind of stick under the tanks. The tanks do stick out from the underside of your van a fair bit, so it might get in the way of certain ability to go off-roading over bumpy tracks and stuff like that. And then, like I say, in the winter you've got to heat them so they don't freeze up. I don't know, I'd say internal water tanks if I was going to do it again, just for the fact that it's inside, you haven't got that problem of something sticking out underneath, and you don't have to heat them. As long as the van's heated inside, then your water's going to be heated, it's not going to freeze. So next question is, how do I tell what wattage my solar panels are? I bought them off eBay second hand and a guy didn't know exactly what size they were. So quite easy. You need to get a voltmeter or multimeter that does volts and amps. You need to get the panel angled perfectly towards the sun on a perfectly sunny day, no clouds in the sky or anything like that, so that the sun and the panel are going to generate the maximum power that panel can achieve. And you're going to put your basically a multimeter onto volts, and you're going to measure the volts that are coming out of it. Do like 3 or 4 measurements just to make sure it's the maximum that you're going to record, and then make a note of that. Then turn your multimeter to amps, and again make sure it's perfectly aligned, best sun possible, and measure the amps that are coming out of that solar panel. And then you just multiply the volts by the amps, and that's your rough wattage for your solar panel. So the next question is, John, please tell me what that beach is from your intro. Now if you mean the old beach intro, video intro, then it was a beach in Wales and that was it. I never told anyone where it was, and it's been shut down now. If you mean the new one, it's somewhere in Europe. We filmed it while we were away on our trip. But I will never tell you, if it's not in my video, the location of where I am, I will never tell you, because some of them I want to keep for myself. So sorry about that. Been quite open and honest in most videos where I'm quite happy to share the locations with you, but not all of them, so I just won't tell you. Hi John, could you please tell me how to wire a light in my camper van with a switch, please? Okay, so imagine you've got your battery at the start of this, or your fuse box, and the light at the end of it, and the switch is somewhere in the middle. So you've got a wire that leaves the battery, travels all the way to where the light is, and just make sure that that wire travels past where you want the switch. And then all you do is you take the live wire and then cut it. Crimp 2 ends on it to put onto the back of the switch, and then when the switch is on, it'll complete the circuit and the light will come on. And then if you don't want the light on, switch it off. Obviously that will break the circuit and the light will stay off. It's that simple. Hi John, could you please tell me what you use when you're installing electrics to check that you've got all your wiring and everything else right? Or for example, if you're fault finding, how do you check something, like amps going down a cable, for example? And for this I use a multimeter. It's a generic multimeter, I don't think it's got a particular brand on it. I got it off Amazon. I'll put the link in the description down below for you. And it's just a multimeter, so it's got an amp clamp on it that you can clamp over a cable that tells you the amps that are passing through that cable you've clamped over. And it's got 2 connections at the bottom for connecting your probes, so you can check things like volts and ohms and continuity, all that kind of stuff. I think there's even a temperature sensor adapter on there as well. So yeah, it's pretty good, quite cheap as well. Right then, I hope you lot are keeping safe. Obviously from this, some of you seem to be keeping busy in a positive way, so good luck with that. If you've got any questions with van builds, during this time, if you're making some mods to your van or you're starting a van from scratch, please do let me know what the questions are, and I'll do my best to answer them, and if they're good enough, they'll be included on the next Van Tech Tuesday video. Obviously, wash your hands between everything you're doing, stay safe, keep more than 2 meters or 6 feet away from someone else, even if they're helping you, and just try and keep as safe and healthy as you possibly can. Right, thanks for watching my video, you take care, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye!